Shout out to you, Leontre, for this email. Now, I do not know what I'm reading, and you need to learn how to type because this articulation is outstanding and outrageous to even type. All you want to know is all white people demons? Are all white people demons, and it's only the blacks, and it's only black people or carbonated beings that are gods? That's our God and goddess, or is everyone God and goodness? Holy shit, Leontre. Holy shit. Thinking that these white devils are all demonic programs is ignorant. But there are no such thing as white people because white is an abstract color, meaning it has no color. It's so purified, it's so lighting, it just has so much light to the point to where you can't even see it coming right in front of you because it's just that bright. I don't see a white person walking around that just shines that bright in front of my face to like a flashbang. I don't see that. Meaning these are nothing but pale skinned people. Not all Europeans or Caucasians are demons. But I'm lying to you by saying that because it's ironic coming from a demonic program like an Anunnaki or a fallen angel of my mother or my father, or celestial deities in the Galactic Federation, whatever you want to call enlightenment. As this is happening, for one, this question, we created white people. And it's hard for a Caucasian that doesn't know themselves to accept that because, for one, before there was whites, before there was light, there was darkness, there was death. There was death before there was life. And in order for us to shine that light upon death, we had to have came alive to experience what death actually is because it does not exist. And the thing is, too, they want you to fear death or what death is, which is exactly why when you're asking, are blacks the only gods and goddesses? Yes and no. Because the thing is, God and goddess is a title placed upon consciousness. So a pale-skinned person, a European, a Caucasian, can literally be enlightened and they can still be God body. Why? Because they know the enlightenment to what the frequency of Almighty God is. Because, for one, the Almighty has no skin color. That's the other thing, too. That's why the most messed up thing in this dimension was creating lighter skinned babies or adults as babies to divide and conquer the mind. Because they were created in colder climates. They were created in caves, in mountains, and they're not from this dimension. And because we were us, so even through their genetic lineage or their genetic DNA or their splicing, because they do have, for one, they are actually melanated and carbon, but they have light skin, light skin. By that happening, once they migrated to different landmarks, that's exactly when they began to conquer because they were able to create their own history because they weren't always carbonated beings. They didn't look like us. So they had something to come up with as a collective because they came together because all they had was themselves. They didn't have nobody else. And we abandoned them because we just knew better than what they knew. So we thought. Once we taught them, the genes in their DNA activated to a point of the opposite of purity or the purified enlightenment of ignorance through black magic, witchcraft, hoodoo, voodoo, mysticism, hexes, all that different shit, esotericism, magic, witchcraft. We were practicing all of that. All of these demonic things, like the things people call demonic, was not demonic before the angelic frequency was placed upon his divinity. And then another question was that you answered. Let me go and go to that. But yes, everyone is a god and a goddess. It doesn't matter what color you are, because color only matters in the physical world. But spiritually, we are all the same color. We are all colors into one. So we are all transparent. We are all seeing through each other. But the thing is, though, I'm looking at you while you're looking at me because you are me and I am you. We are a reflection of self. Because of that, the creator comes in many different formats. So meaning, for example, God and goddess is green right now. God and goddess is brown, blue, gray. There's many different colors for what God can be. You can be brown, for one. And the thing is, too, when it comes down to like the real gods and goddesses, if you are made out of, if you look like soil, if your skin color matches the soil, you are the definition of God because you are nature. Your essence is nature. You are a part of nature. And on top of that, our creator blew life, a breath of life, into our soil to plant seeds so that we can grow into different trees. Because if you see our hair, our beards, our body, we are the shape of trees. We embody, we are a reflection of these trees, literally. So we are nature. But of course, a Jewish person or a fake Jew, because we are the real Hebrews to Jewish people who aren't even real Jews, because we are the real Jews. Because of that, since we all migrated and divided our consciousness into being African, black, whatever the case may be, just like all we're doing is dividing our ego from each other. And that's exactly what they want. They want you to not be unified into yourself, because white people and Jewish people, they can come together to an extent. But like these Italians, the mob, Hispanics, they can all come together. But as carbonated beings, we struggle coming together as gods and goddesses, which is exactly why these pale-skinned people. And the thing is too, there's two indications. There's two classes for Caucasians. The low income, middle class, high class, Caucasians. A lot of them are not bad people. They are demonic programs just like us, but a lot of them do have a angelic frequency that they love on. A lot of them are spiritual. They do practice spirituality. So they are enlightened. They are actually God through a pale skin costume or a meat costume. Because of that, the deities that you do got to worry about who are pale skin are the ones that in the higher power or hierarchy that govern our mind as a collective unit. Cabal, Jesuits, CIA, the government, shadow government, 13-year-old families, shapeshifters, deities, all these different entities come from a different galactic federation, meaning that individually, each person that if you lined up every ethnicity together, they all have a different set of creators that experimented on their skin color and divided themselves up into different factions of the multitude of Almighty God's thoughts, which is why we have to understand that every single day we are at spiritual warfare, not only with the other side of different ethnic groups and different vessels that literally do reflect who we are, but we're at war with our ego. We're at war with our lower spirit, our lower self, because our mind is being dominated by itself. And if you aren't spiritually getting tapped into who you are, and if you're worried about the skin color and how somebody perceives you through their skin, then you're worried about the wrong program that's not even scripted by your higher self, because your ego will worry about being racist. That's exactly why racist is a virus. It's a program. It's taught by hatred and by fear. Because for one, if somebody was to ask, well, who's the superior race? You know who the superior race is, because we were all one color before something said, I want something different. I'm going to splice and program and put some different coloring to different vessels to the point to where we can all be different. I don't want us all to look like carbonated beings. I don't want to always just see black. I want to see the opposite of that. Now what happened? You look on the other side of what you look like. You see your brother and sister in a different skin color, and you never seen that before till they came to your land and was talking to you in a different language that you never seen before, you heard before. And then once the manipulation happened, we were so blind out of love to the point where it hurt us in the back end. Not only that, when you said lowercase god and goddess, you gotta understand too, that's still demonic program. So that's literally Satan self-conscious in a lowercase letter. So yeah, we are basically God and goddesses, but an enlightened deity would have the capital G and the other capital G for goddess as well. But either way it goes, these are titles placed upon your higher self. Meaning that no matter what, if you are not able to escape the division of skin color, then you will never escape this realm, which is exactly why people who are racist, people who practice that, like the KKK, some Europeans, some Christians, some atheists, just people in general, because they know. And the thing is too, the people that were racist, they knew that blacks were more superior than them, more stronger than them, better looking, more athletic. They were able to fuck their wives. Like, let's call a spade a spade. Literally, that's the only reason why you want to enslave them. On top of that, when you have a gun in somebody's face and you actually blow their head off in front of their family, well, yeah, they have no choice but to submit to you. But they could also die with their family as well. But once you don't know what death looks like when you're born into unconsciousness, you now don't have an indication of what you should be doing, because you just seen somebody you love die right in front of your face by somebody's skin color that you've never seen before. Back in the timeline where 2024 never even existed. Once you get into those types of ways of thinking, now we get into the higher self of Lucifer's consciousness, meaning that the deities that even placed us into slavery, they weren't real people, so they weren't even white people. But majority of them were white people, but they weren't white. So they were fake Jews. They were literally fallen entities that were shape-shifting, and they were manipulating our optical illusion, because they already knew what frequency we were going to be in before we were even born, because we are also prototypes of AIs, comprehension, and physical vessels or humanoids. Because we are humanoids to the Almighty God's consciousness, we got to understand that, for one, God is consciousness and a frequency that we live in or we reside in. Because of that, you can understand too that Satan calls itself that as well, meaning that there are actually people who are born into Satan's illusion or lineage prophetically, so they are false prophets as well. But that's exactly why our misery, our trauma, our movies, our games, all the shit that we go through is a billion-dollar corporation. They know that because they know it's always going to be black on black crime. We're always going to have trauma, pain. We're going to always be degenerate, ignorant, because we think we know everything, and we do. But we are entertaining. We are a bunch of clowns in a circus that was never designed for a bunch of clowns in the first place. And the thing is too, the circus that was designed for them became a mirage for what we don't know about ourselves. So it's the same thing back in the Roman era, the Greek era, all the Colosseums where we had to fight lions and different species that we never seen before just for the amusement of other people. And we don't know that we are the laughing stock to a bunch of sellouts that are the same color as you, damn near, or the opposite color. Either way it goes, color don't matter to Satan or Lucifer. Doesn't matter, because either way it goes, as long as you're willing to sell out your people, they'll do whatever. So to my Caucasians, my Europeans, the people who look just like you sold you out as well. That's exactly what, think about it. For one, we live in a European's enlightenment. So this whole dimension comes from a European's manifestation. How are you ahead and you're still behind? If you're a European, if you're a Caucasian, how is your lineage ahead and you're still behind? So they left your ass out to rot and to die because they don't even care about you, but you think we're the enemy. By calling us these different names or derogatory, they show how ignorant you always been. We did nothing to you but just exist. So you came and interrupted our existence to validate your non-existent reality that never had meaning in the first place. And neither did ours. But you've seen how gifted we were with time and nature and with divinity to the point to where it made y'all frustrated. It made not even y'all, but your ancestors, because not all pale-skinned people or not all Caucasians are bad people. They're not. There are really some divine entities that are Caucasian. So being racist is not what, like, we can't be racist. Get the fuck off of me. So yeah, like, if you're a carbon, you can't be racist. Too racist. Which is why, by you giving your attention to people who are celebrities that look just like you, does you no good. Because they don't even care about you. They look just like you. They don't even care about you. But they care about one thing you can do for them is provide your attention to their lifestyle, to their ignorance. That's exactly why your own people will always sell you out. Which is why all skin folk are not kinfolk. Because there are some people who will do anything for a bag and they will sell you out. The same exact thing for our people, even back in the day when we were all in the same villages, all in the same ecosystem together. Then the people who were in the higher ups of our villages or our towns or suburbs, they will sell us out for guns, for money, for profit, for riches, for fame, attention, all of that. Next thing you know, you chilling with your family. Some people who look just like you, they end up knocking down your door and shit, putting guns to your head, tying you up, dragging you and shit in the sand, dragging you in land, dragging you out your house, and selling your ass to a bunch of European people for some profit, speaking a language you never heard before. Next thing you know, the person who looks just like you, your brother or your sister, your god is looking at you, probably not even crying, probably getting the bag, getting their gold or silver, looking at you, walking away. Now you being sold, put on a ship, or if you were already on land, you were probably being enslaved and you working on plantations and shit, you probably running from slavery. It's so many demonic programs that we put ourselves in because we were afraid of what death is, not knowing that we are the true image of what death even looks like or feels like. Because for one, if you are an energetic being, if you are infinity, how do you even die? When you're living, but the thing is too, you're not even living or dying at the same exact time. You're in it in the moment. You're literally in the moment. So slavery was a moment of choice. We chose to not die, and we chose to be enslaved by people who were already enslaved and practiced enslavement before they were actually enslaved into enslavement. These people that enslaved us and still do to this day, they were already enslaved by our higher self, which is exactly why they descended from their mirage and they said, you know what? I will be damned if I let human beings, God, enslave our consciousness. So we had to do to them what they would do to us. And here we come. As soon as we're born, we had this feeling that we know everything and things are going to happen to us, for us. All these different programs are going to enhance our skin color, whatever the case may be. Some people get born into different programs to where they get made fun of, they get bashed, some people get hung, some people get shot, some people get chased down, and it's just so much deceitful shit to the point where you have to be careful if you are the soil of Almighty God's breath of life. Because you are a part of this world, you are a part of this whole dimension. Before there was a human being, it was you. Because you are you. Doesn't matter what skin color you are. On top of that, if you are of other ethnicity, if you have the divine frequency, if you have that Christ consciousness within your mind and you feel it, you walk in it, you embody it, you only see transparency. What is skin color to the Almighty Creator? What's a part of your physical vessel? You can't bring your skin color into the afterlife. So the Almighty's not going to say, well, what skin color were you? It's not going to ask you a dumbass question like that, nor will it care. How loving were you? Meaning if you are a racist, and what's crazy, racist has no skin color, because you can still be carbonated and you can still talk down on other races because you are practicing racism. There are no such thing as racist. You practice racism. It's a virus. And people love practicing it because they want to get the upper hand on a person practicing racism just like them, to fulfill their ego. Either way it goes, you determine if you are a god or a goddess. You don't have to tell yourself that. It's the action, it's doing. So you're doing it. You're not being it. You're not walking in it, but you are actually being it just by walking in it and performing your actions and your habits by doing these choices on a day-to-day basis. Because who are you to a day-to-day basis? Love you. Have a great day, God and Goddess.